you praise from the inside out, Lord. My soul cries out, everlasting. Your light will shine when all else fades, never ending. Your glory goes beyond all fame, and the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out, Lord. My soul cries out from the inside out, Lord. My soul cries out. Ooh, it cries out. Lord, my soul cries out. Lord, my soul cries out. Lord, my soul cries out. Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful day that you've given us to worship you. I pray that you are in this place, Lord. And I pray that everybody here is here for nothing but you. Please let us focus as we dive into your word this morning, Lord. And be with Pastor Bubba as he brings your word. Amen.
All right, kiddos. Now's your chance to escape. Go, go, go. Head for the back door. Parents, you can walk them out if you would like to. We're going to be in Psalm 139, so y'all catch up with me there. Psalm 139, very familiar psalm, hopefully to you. Maybe you didn't recognize off the top of your head, but you'll see it. You'll see the verses there, and you'll see what we've looked at before, and you've heard these verses before, and you've heard these thoughts before. And so we just want to talk through these and just have a little fun with this passage. It's a beautiful passage. I think I would say my mom's favorite verse, but my mom, you've heard me talk about her, she has like 400 favorite verses. So, and they change each month. She gets a new 400 set. So if that tells you anything about my mom and her propensity to Bible study. All right, so let's look at this text. Let's just go ahead and read some, and then we'll go from there. Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know me when I sit down and when I stand up. You understand my thoughts from afar. You observe my travels and my rest. You are aware of all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know all about it, Lord. You have encircled me. You have placed your hand on me. This is extraordinary knowledge. This extraordinary knowledge is beyond me. It is lofty. I am unable to reach it. Where can I go to escape your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I live at the eastern horizon or settle at the western limits, even there your hand will lead me. Your right hand will hold on to me. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light around me will be like night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night shines like the day. Darkness and light are alike to you. For it was you who created me in my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I will praise you because I have been remarkably and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know this very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was made in secret, when I was formed in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw me when I was formless. All my days were written in your book and planned before a single one of them began. God, and here's the Holman translation is a little different than yours, so I'll kind of explain it here in a second. It says, God, how difficult your thoughts are for me to comprehend. Now, your text probably says something, how precious are your thoughts to me? And he's making a little comparison. It's so precious. And the other side, he's going, I don't get why you think I'm so precious. That's kind of the difference here. So let's keep going with it. God, how precious are your thoughts to me? How vast is the sum of them? If I counted them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. God, if only you would kill the wicked. Now, that's an odd way to go right here, right? Amen? We'll come back to this, trust me, all right? God, if only you would kill the wicked. You bloodthirsty men, stay away from me, who invoke you deceitfully. Your enemies swear by you falsely. Lord, don't I hate those who hate you and detest those who rebel against you? I hate them with extreme hatred. I consider them my enemies. So search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my concerns. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the everlasting way. Now, who's writing this? Up at the top of that should say something like Psalm 139 for the director of music, a psalm of David. Now, does it give us any context as to when he is writing this? Because David's got a pretty amazing life, right? David starts off, he's just a little shepherd kid, right? Watching his father's sheep. He's the youngest son of his father, right? And he goes, he fights Goliath. He eventually starts working for Saul. Saul starts getting jealous. Saul tries to kill him. He runs away from Saul. He runs to Moab. He's going, I'm safe. And God goes, get back in the fight. Get back in the fight. I need some psalms out of you. So he sends him back into Judea, where he runs for his life for about, we think about 15 years. He's running for his life, and he's writing psalms. So if you've ever read the Psalms and you go, God, why have you abandoned me? Why are our enemies pursuing me? Because God told him to get out of Moab and get back in the fight. Because I need psalms, because these people are going to be messed up someday in Texarkana, and they're going to need something to reflect back on and go, okay, I'm not alone in this fight. So he gets him back in the fight, and eventually Saul dies off. All right, and he becomes king, and he's conquering everybody. He's got a great thing. He's got no enemies after he starts wiping them all out. And then all of a sudden, one day, he's out on his porch when he should have been somewhere else. Amen. All right, and he gets there, and he starts to look, and he goes, now that's attractive. And instead of going, I shouldn't look at that, he goes, I need to look at that some more. Why don't you bring her over here? Gets in a little bit of trouble with Bathsheba. Ends up killing off her husband, marrying her. Nathan comes along and goes, you are the man that killed her. We talked about this last week. He goes, I know it was me. I'm sorry. I was wrong. God, forgive me. God, forgive me. And God goes, I will, but I'm going to kill your unborn son. He's going to pay for your sin. The sinless son of David died in the place of David. Does that sound familiar? Because the sinless son of David died in your place too, so that you could go free. Now, David goes through this. His son falls in love with his half-sister. He then rapes her. Big brother gets mad at first son, kills him. He is then banished from the house. All right? Eventually, he's brought back. That son who's brought back, Absalom, has this coup, takes over for David until David takes back over, destroys him. And in the midst of all this, where is this story? You see, that's quite a life, right? Where would you place this? Think about your own life. You been through anything in your life? I mean, I'm coming up on 50 real quick, all right? And if you found a poem from me and it says, well, this is what it says, there's no context, where would you place it in my life? High school, college, BK, before kids, all right? If you remember that. Are you with me? It's like an amnesia takes over when you have kids. I have no recollection of not having kids, all right? Maybe that's just wearing me out, all right? But where is this place? We just don't know. We just don't know. But it's such a beautiful poem about this God who searches and knows everything. And I want us to read this again, and we're not going to read it all the way through, but I want to read it from God's perspective. I want to flip the script here, because David's saying, God, you have searched me, and you have known me, past tense, right? And you've known this, and you've known this, and you've known this. I want to flip it, and I want to read it from God's perspective. Look at the text again. David, I have searched you, and I've known you. And I think David, in a lot of ways at this moment, is going, that's amazing, because you've searched me and you've known me and I'm still breathing. Anybody else in that boat with me? That you look at your own life and you go, God, you've searched me. And that word, that's the same word that's used when they scout out the promised land. Remember when they send in the spies to go look around and they find these grapes that are like big, huge grapes, all this stuff? That's the same word. You've scouted me out. You've explored me. You investigated me. And you know me. You know everything about me. And I'm still breathing. If you don't understand why that's amazing, you have not encountered your sin. You're living in some world that you think you're better than everybody else. Trust me, we're all horrible. Amen? Welcome to the horrible club, all right? So, David, I've searched you and I've known you. I knew when you sat down and when you stood up. I've understood your thoughts from afar. I observed your travels and your rest. Literally, when you're walking from one place to another and when you sat down to rest, when you lay down at night, I am aware of all your ways. Before a word was on your tongue, I knew all about it. Now, that should be scary for some of you because you have an abundance of words. That's a scary thought. I have encircled you. I love the way that this phrase breaks down in the Greek, in the Septuagint. It says, I'm the eschatos and the archos. It literally means, I know the last thing about you, and I know the first thing about you. I've encircled you. In the Hebrew, it's the idea of besieging a city, laying the city to siege. He says, I know all this. I know all of this, and you're still breathing. I've placed my hand on you. David, verse 6, this is too much for you. I love that. David, you can't get this. This is just too high for you. This is too lofty. You cannot reach it. You want to try and escape from me? Good luck. Good luck. Because if you come up to heaven, I'm here. All right? You go down into Sheol. Sheol is David's word for hell, if you want to put it that way. All right? David didn't have a concept of eternal fire, of hell, of all these. He had this understanding of dead. When bad people die, they go into this place, and they call it Sheol, and it's referred to as Hades in the New Testament. But he didn't know. He just didn't have that revelation yet about eternal fire and all that kind of stuff. So his idea is, if you were even to go down to Sheol, I'm still with you. You see, I think God still loves the people that are in hell today. Adolf Hitler is sitting in hell today, we're pretty sure, and God is still in love with that creation. Think about that one for a little bit. If you live on the eastern horizon or settle at the western limits, hopefully your translation has a little bit this, because east and west is pretty boring, all right? David says, if I rise on the wings of the sunrise, that's better, isn't it? Than over in the east, all right? That's like guide directions. Are you with me? Guys, what do we do when we give directions? All right, you need to head about 2 miles east on this, and then you need to go west and then turn north on this, and you're there, all right? That's what the Holman translation does with it, all right? The rest of the true translation is more like girl directions, all right? Girl directions are go down that way a little bit, and then when you see the pretty house that's kind of got some green shutters on the front of it, go 2 more houses till the really nice craftsman home, and then take a left there. All right, that's girl directions, right? And David is with this. David's giving girl directions. He says, you will rise, even if you rise on the wings of the sunrise. Where's that? In the east. Or if you go to the last limit of the sea, the Mediterranean, east to west. Y'all with me? See, that's good poetic stuff, guys. Y'all need to learn this stuff, all right? Girls like this stuff, all right? Guys, pay attention, young folks, all right? They like that stuff, all right? So, verse 10. Even there, your hand will lead me, or I will lead you, and my right hand will hold on to you. Let me ask you this. Some of you are sitting here thinking, well, I don't believe in God. That doesn't matter because he believes in you. He knows you. He knows everything about you. And you want to say, well, I'll do my thing and God can stay over there and I'll stay over here. No. It's kind of like parenting. I've had this guy with me all week without his brother being around. His brother's in New Mexico. We're about to catch up with him. And guess what? He's been my buddy for the last 2.5 weeks, right? He's so sick and tired of being around me, all right? We've gone to work out together all the time. We've gone everywhere together. He's my buddy. And you know what? He can't do a thing about it. You know why? Because I'm his dad. All right? And I don't ask him, hey, do you want to hang out with me? Yes, no? I'm just right there with him. Even when he doesn't want me to be. Because I flipped him out of his bed yesterday, turned the whole mattress on the floor and everything, and then jumped on top of him. All right? Why? You know why? Because he's my son. Do you see this? It's too much for me. This is, God, leave me alone. Nope. Not going to do it. Because I created you and I loved you. Look at the text here. Verse 13, for it was you, God, for it was me who created your inward parts. I knit you together in your mother's womb. Now, I'm going to ruin this verse for some of you. I'm sorry. If you like the language of inward parts and knitting together, I'm sorry. It's just not in the text. Now, here's an interesting phrase. It says, for it was you who created my inward parts. Literally, you'll enjoy this. Literally, it says, you bought my kidneys. Now, some of you have King James Version, and it says, you possess my reins. Anybody rocking the King James this morning, and you got possessing my reins, and you're going, all right, I'm not a cowboy. I don't know what that means, okay? This is the idea. You purchased my kidneys, okay? Now, normally we would talk about the heart being the center of a being, right? Right? But the heart's way up here, right? Or here. Help me out, Chris. You know all this stuff, all right? It's somewhere in here, all right? It goes boom, 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 all right? All right? But where are your kidneys? Trust me, had kidney stones all year last year. I'm very familiar with where my kidneys are, okay? They're right there in the middle. And they would speak of this as being the center of your being. The heart is the center of emotions, but your kidneys would be the center of your being. And David says this, you acquired the center of my being. And you covered, it doesn't say knit. I love the word knit. And those of you that work with the crisis pregnancy centers, you can use this verb, and I won't tell anybody if you keep using knit. But it means you covered me. Look at the text. You covered me together in my mother's womb. Isn't that a beautiful picture? I mean, Chris, you guys just had this baby, and it was covered, and it was maintained, and it was hemmed in all around so that it could develop. And David is saying, you knew me then. Not just when I got out and started doing all this crazy stuff. You knew me here. I will praise you. Verse 14, I will praise you, which literally means I will thank God for you. I will confess these things to you because I have been remarkably and wonderfully made. Some of your translations, you're old school, and in your head you're going, no. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, right? Because we learned that when we were in vacation Bible school growing up and doing church training. Anybody training union? We worked that, all right? Sword drills. Fearfully and wonderfully made. I'll give you fearfully. Wonderfully is not the word, though. The second part of this is distinctively. Now, I get this picture that there's this assembly line in heaven, and God's just putting out people, and everyone rolls off there, and all of a sudden, as one rolls out of heaven, all the angels just stop what they're doing. Because when you stand in awe of something, what do you have to do? You got to stop. You don't walk by the Grand Canyon and go, big hole in the ground, and just keep walking, right? Anybody been to the Grand Canyon? You got to stop. I was with a friend of mine. This guy, I work camp together, work centrifuge, which tells you a lot about the character of the people that work centrifuge. So we go to the Grand Canyon after this, and we're walking there. We drive 8 hours to stand there, and we just had to stand there. And I'm just soaking it in. I mean, this is just awesome, because if you've never been there, you just don't understand this. It's like looking at this amazing picture. It's really, really, really amazing. It's awe-inspiring, if they would say. So I'm sitting there, and we're just taking it in, and there's like the UN around us, all right? There's nobody from America. Nobody from America goes to the Grand Canyon, evidently. Everybody from every other country. So I hear conversations everywhere, and I'm just kind of soaking it in, and we're at this bar right there at the end, and you can kind of stand there and look. All of a sudden, my friend, my roommate all summer, he crawls up on the bars like Titanic, all right? And he cups his hand and he yells, Bobby, Cindy, where are you?